Thank you. Recording in progress. That's good to know. No, we won't have that. I'm coming out. I'm coming out. So you'd better get this party started. Coming out. Get this party started on a Saturday night. Everybody's waiting for me to arrive. I am here. There he is. Hello. Am I mic'd on? Are you mic'd on?
I believe it is now.
It is. Hello, I'm Lush. Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Hello, Lush.
Oh yeah, I earned it. just
yes, and it's a very.
sorry.
Sorry,
Go.
you were saying?
No, do go.
Oh,
I think we're going to have a bit of a lag on this one, but that'll be fixed in editing. So go for it.
excellent, excellent. Well, I do apologize for my rather ethereal nature, but I figured I'd approach you with this interview from the rectory.
I'm glad you used rect somewhere in there.
it's either well, I guess being online, it is an e-rectory, isn't it?
It is. And at the end, it will be rectum and gone.
Afterwards, you'll all be wrecked and I will be gone. Back to the gates of hell where I belong.
And now we know the tone that the interview is going to be in, and that's going to be fine because this is Gaywaves and we don't care. We just love you.
I know, and we all spend an appropriate amount of time on our knees. So
We do, and sometimes you get blessed.
yes, well, if you receive a sacrament, it's not quite solid, I suppose you could say, more gooey, but
This is the mayonnaise of Jesus.
How are you, my darling? I do apologize for skipping yesterday. I've had so much going on in the last couple of weeks that it's a bit hard for me to keep track of things at the moment.
It is. I've been reading your bios. It's quite a kerfuffle. You're all over the shop.
I know, I know. I mean, if I'm not asking for forgiveness, I'm blessing people with my presence mostly.
Well, I'm glad you blessed us because that's going
Oh,
to be
look, well, it's an absolute honor, and I can't wait to start. Well, to be perfectly honest, I can't wait to get down there. It's been a while since I've been involved.
Well, you're welcome to enter us anytime you like.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up with all of these jokes, darling. I might have to call for backup.
Well, feel free to steal them. They're not going anywhere else. So.
Well, it's not stealing if I do it. It's more reclaiming and reparation. But that's the important thing that we're going to go with from now on.
It's a homage. Yeah. That's the one.
A homage.
That's the one, darling. Now, I'm going to get some questions happening because I've only got half an hour for you. So, and your production team did a lovely job setting this up. So thanks to Sean.
Yes, indeed.
So
I love Sean.
I'm going to do a little bit of an intro, ask some questions. If you want to interject anything or throw something funny in, feel free because you're the star. I'm just here because I look interesting. And I have a radio show.
Listen, you have the means. I am the message sent from below.
Send I'm high to below.
Lovely. Well, I'm having dinner with Lucy later tonight, so I'll give him your regards.
Yeah, I'm looking for a seat near the buffet. So.
Oh, I'm going to love talking to you, darling. We're going to have fun.
Oh, I can't wait to see you in flesh one day. It might happen. So anyway, so, ladies and gentlemen of Gaywaves, last week we talked to the wonders of Wollongong and the great Spiegel tent. Well, tonight I have another treat from that magical piece of camp canvas, a show called Caboriginal. I guess you can guess what that's about. And if you can't, you're on the wrong show, my darlings. Now, this show contains all of the greats, some you've heard about, some you haven't heard about, and some you're going to go, what? You should hear about them. There's some many great, honorable people. Voodoo Doll, No Vagina, Scott Hunter. And tonight, we have the most wondrous of all. I believe it's the Reverend Jaya Wymarra. Did I say that right?
Yeah. Jaya Wymarra, yes. A thousand
Thank you.
blessings be upon you. A thousand
And
blessings and curse your enemies.
you too. Up yours too, sweet. So a wonderful, proud, queer comedian from the Torres Strait Island, and he's going to tell us all about the Spiegel tent himself, what we can expect if we give our dollars to the church, to him. So let's begin. You're from Queensland. Whereabouts in Queensland are you, the Torres Strait Island? Tell me about your babyhood, your childhood. Who are you?
Well, it started when I was a little girl, and I told myself that I would love to very much be, if not the funniest, at least the dirtiest presence on any stage show or bedroom table. And it was incredibly important for me that in order to entertain the masses, I had to have a decent gift of the gab, I suppose. And I suppose I can confirm to all of your beautiful viewers and listeners here that I do indeed have a very talented mouth.
So you are a
So,
cunning linguist.
well, occasionally I go for a very good pianist. But the important thing to know is that humor is how I found my form of chosen expression. It was the thing that expressed most to me, and I intend to express it all over you from both nipples. So it starts in my boyhood when I was just a wee lad in the Torres Strait Islands. I was
Mhm.
doing impressions quite a great deal for those who would listen and those who didn't feel polite enough to tell me to go away after it dragged on for too long. Uh, and I think that through that, I discovered that the small town that I come from, a little place called Thursday Island, it was a very difficult task to find anyone who was similar to me. And of course, that is a bit of a coded statement for on two levels. One, no one was as boisterous or as loud as I was, and certainly no one was interested in at that time non-typical forms of performance. The typical forms, of course, were music or gangster rap, as the French would say. So I didn't really have much of an interest in the typical style. I wanted to go into theatre and acting, and I found stand-up comedy, and later on cabaret. And here we are. The rest is history. About, I would say, 40,000 plus years of it.
So you definitely encourage the indigenous comedian within you, or just the comedian? Is there a difference?
I think that when you spend a lot of time, I don't know if I can curse on this station.
Oh,
May
go
I?
for it, sweetie. Go.
Okay,
Anything you like.
okay. Look, when you talk shit long enough, eventually someone's either going to pay for it. It's just how it. Someone's either going to pay for it or they're going to tell you to just fuck off. So it's and that's really all I could see. There was no. That's the only part of my life that I would consider binary. That was just a decision I had to make. So I nurture the comedian in me. I nurture the performer in me. And performance is challenging by its very nature, which is why, at least on the stage, I am an ordained reverend. And I have to say that what I do, I consider a blessing to myself, which is what informs the Reverend Jay Wymarra when he's performing cabaret, Caboriginal. Caboriginal, of course, as you know, is the oldest and continuing cabaret show ever in the world.
And many, many, many years to come. Absolutely. So you're going to
Yes,
bring.
with an O and a U.
Are you bringing it to Sydney, perhaps, or is it just a local thing for now?
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to call some of my exes and see if we can get a congregation going. But I suppose Sydney's on the cards if you play each one of those right. But we figure Wollongong first because the Spiegel tent in Wollongong is was indeed one of our first choices when we put this show together.
This is very good to hear. So,
Mhm.
in what ways? I had some really, really cool questions, and you've thrown me because you're just too good. You're too funny. I was going to do all of these amazingly straight journo things for you, but no, you're just throwing me a loop, sweetie.
Well,
So,
one of us has to be straight here, so go ahead.
oh, I don't think so.
Not the medium, is it?
No, there's no binary in this planet, sweetie. Now, are there any particular challenges as a comedian that you have found?
What particular challenges as a comedian have I found? Well, I suppose the first thing I was struggling with the most, just with me personally, was trying to find my voice. I take the systems of oppression to task a little bit, but I also have to, within my medium, make it entertaining and palatable to as many people as possible. It's perfectly fine performing to a room of 10 people, but if it's the same 10 people over and over again, then sweetie, you might want to consider changing tactics. But I guess the important thing that I really tried to overcome, and I think I have overcome in the years, is learning to be comfortable on stage and knowing that what I'm doing, being secure in what I'm doing, is ultimately, while talking about the rough stuff occasionally, freeing the audience, the audience member, from concern. That's really it. All I want to do is free people from concern. And as soon as I did that, oh my gosh, it just rapturous waves of relief, and all of a sudden, like my purpose revealed itself as God would part through the clouds. you know,
Nothing like
yes.
self-relief. What can...
I will say that just on that very quickly, that establishing my queerness was definitely one of the biggest challenges because, as far as I was aware, there were no middle sexuality comedians on. Oh, look out!
Oh, God got you.
I know. He's in there talking that darky madness.
Get you, boy.
I know. So we both just experienced a bit of gay panic just then. Good heavens.
What, the bar's
Um,
closed?
but it's only 3 a.m. Anywho.
Anyway, so yeah.
So yes, I found my queerness was actually one of the biggest challenges. Incorporating that into my stand-up effectively, that was actually quite the challenge indeed. Because there were no pansexuals or bisexuals, or it was either gay or straight. That was it. And there had certainly been like emerging gay comedians. There have been gay comedians forever. There's been a handful of queer comedians, but none that you would immediately pick. So to get on stage and very proudly say that I'm a pansexual and make jokes about that was so empowering. It was a challenge at first because I wasn't quite sure what I could say, if in fact I was allowed to say anything. But of course, yeah. But like all stagecraft, eventually you realize that this is, this is say what you want, say what you want, because chances are you may not get a chance to say it again.
Yeah, and so many people, pansexuality is just still not as understood as, okay, gay, straight, bi. There's more.
Absolutely.
Wow. Congrats on that.
Absolutely. As many different pronouns or designations as there are stripes on the rainbow. So.
And there is many gradients in that as well.
Indeed.
So what can people expect from this Caboriginal show at the Spiegel Tents? What's happening?
Oh, Caboriginal. Well, the Spiegel Tent is a beautiful and historic and classical venue for all things queer, darling, as I'm sure you know. What I have found is that, especially in my religious upbringing, is that as the scriptures say, when two or more gather in my presence, I gather in my name, I am present, as God would say. It was in his best-selling book, the only one he wrote, and
so that's an automatic threesome right there.
Exactly. So if God's down with it, then so should you be.
But you must be
as an old.
stoned.
Oh, indeed. Well, a clitoris has about 9,000 different nerve endings, and is nowhere near as sensitive as a Christian. So it's kind of one of those things where you can expect a lot of salacious humor from Caboriginal. You're going to expect the best of what Indigenous cabaret has to offer, because cabaret in itself is this beautiful, amorphous, experimental medium, and you can find so much in so little. I think it is, it's beautiful and different and just multifaceted. Again, as gradients of the rainbow. You're going to find myself, the Reverend Jaya Wymarra, condemning everyone in the front row for the various sins that they have committed, no matter how innocuous, especially if you're in leopard print, because you should be back on the corner earning your living. The and what I find what I find you're probably going to come away from is that you're going to find uh, probably the single most hearty and genuine set of belly laughs and thoroughly entertaining. You're going to find some beautiful, highly talented performers. I just get on stage in my tunic and my heels and just keep you satisfied between each course. That's really all I do. But you're going to expect like some of the best in drag, in song, in cab original.
Which is what I'm hoping for, and I'm glad I didn't wear the leopard print today because I said it to the shop.
That's all right, darling. That's all right, darling. I'll go and hunt one really quickly for you and bring one down, shall I?
I've got them in the next room. I'm old. I have cats.
Oh, absolutely. Well, come on. You're going to work with Mum today.
Auntie Lush is coming. So, in what way do you think your show can be a powerful tool for promoting, understanding, and bridging queer and cultural gaps? What message are you bringing to the people? How are you making a difference? And I'll let you know, AI wrote that question. I just thought I'd throw that one in.
AI wrote that question. Oh. Yes, artificial insemination. Here we are. Let's see. Well, what can Cab Original provide for the masses? What do we do? What services?
What can they do? What can you do? Yeah, service us.
Well, look, what can we give you? Well, approximately. Well, look, in-calls start at about $100 an hour. But I will say that what we can provide you is not only a rollicking night out, and honestly, like the old drag queens say, the drunker you get, the more pretty and entertaining we become. But what I would like to very much enforce to the audience and prospective ticket holders is that if you wish to come to Cab Original, please go ahead and not only buy a ticket, but you'll learn a great deal about the intersections of both the medium, the queer spectrum, and of course about Aboriginality in and of itself, because we are the oldest artists, we are the oldest dancers, singers, writers, and storytellers. We are the oldest, and for goodness sake, our people traveled around the country setting up base wherever we was. So technically, we invented camp. The important thing that I would like to, of course, give you is that this black queerness sits in this beautiful, untapped space yet to be discovered, not colonized. And this space is purely for us to express the best of ourselves to you in the way that non-queer Indigenous performers and mediums would. So we want to show you the best of ourselves, and that's exactly what you're going to get. And also, what's more loving than a rainbow, in my opinion? That's the other thing. I think you'll expect what you're going to get from us is a feeling of relief, a feeling of joy, a feeling of visibility. You will be seen here. You'll be accepted here. That's really what you'll expect.
That's what we want to hear. I want to hear more about you. I want to know how you got a gig on Rosehaven. How do you find stuff like that?
Oh my God!
Yeah, I did some research.
She found the receipts.
Hire me.
Well, okay. Well, it starts out when I was a young comedian some years ago in a little town called Melbourne. I decided to enter into the competition for the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, which was offering what was it offering? They were offering a major showcase called Deadly Funny, which is essentially raw comedy, but just for black fellas. And that's what I found to be really just, I was attracted to that immediately. I was sort of hanging around here in North Queensland, sort of occasionally doing gigs, and I thought, I'm going to give that a try. Like, why not? And I got in on my first regional heat, and they said, you're amazing. We're going to shoot you straight ahead to the final. And I was like, cool, that's awesome. I'd love to. Love to. Hang out in Melbourne for free? No worries. Incidentally, it was also the first time I downloaded Grindr, but we won't go into that story.
That's the next episode on the podcast, people.
Yes, it looks like my mouth was talented for a number of reasons. But what I can say is that once Deadly Funny National Grand Finals had aired on NITV, unbeknownst to me, a little-known comedian by the name of Celia Proquola was in the audience and judging the show. So what had happened was after Deadly Funny, I just played the forum with a bunch of amazing contestants who were with me in my year, and I came back to North Queensland, and I thought, all right, back to work, just going to hang out and figure out what the next step is. And I get asked by
Mhm.
the producers of Rosehaven a few weeks later, saying, "Hey, have you ever heard of Rosehaven? Would you consider auditioning?" And I just went, to be perfectly honest, I actually wasn't sure what Rosehaven was. I knew of the show, but the producer, a lovely gentleman by the name of Andy Walker, um, emailed me and said, on I think it was like a Thursday or a Friday, and I said, "Hey, cool, I'm just going to take the weekend and I'll respond to you on Monday."
Mhm.
Left them on red, poor things,
Mhm.
and then sort of went away and quietly wanted to work out what on earth Rosehaven was. Again, I was only mildly familiar with it because I hadn't really watched the show, but I knew the name because it was quite ubiquitous at the time.
Mhm.
And I thought to myself, well, why not? Why not check it out? So I emailed them back and said, yes, I would love to. And I'd love to give it an audition. And so a date was set. And much similar to this conversation, Celia Paquella and Luke McGregor were on the Zoom because I thought it was going to be the producer. And Celia is just like, Jay! And I'm like, oh my God, Celia and Luke McGregor, this is awesome. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. And yeah, but sort of greeting me like they'd known me for years. And I'm just like, why me? I'm just curious. Why did you pick me? And she goes, well, I was judging Deadly Funny. I was like, wow, okay. So immediately the lesson is rendered. You don't know who's going to be watching, especially the man upstairs. So look, I like to think that your version of God deals out the thing you deserve the most at the time, you know, in one way or another. In which case, he's testing me with how long I've been single, but we'll get to that later. It's what I will say is that after the audition, it went incredibly well. They flew me down to Tasmania at a moment's notice and said they got me to read for the part, and then they pretty much hired me on the spot. And and look, it was probably the best week of my life up to this point, among other wonderful adventures that I've had. But I had a genuinely fun time, just just enjoying filming, learning about. It was my first major TV role as well, so uh, I couldn't really quantify it at the time. But what I can say now is that I had an amazing time having seen Hobart for the first time, having been on television for the first time, uh, and of course, well, in the week I was there, Grinder was very helpful. I'll be honest. Yes,
This is
because
not a
well,
commercial, people.
it is not a commercial. It's more an announcement that someone has to go down occasionally to help break up the gene pool in Hobart. But yeah, and so they needed me immediately. So I had probably about 7 days of filming, and it was actually a lot of fun. And I got my first taste of television. So again, the fact that you bring that up is such a, I forget, because stand up is sort of like my main focus. I
Mm.
forget that I do television from time to time. I genuinely do.
I was watching your deadly videos. That's how I picked this up and thought, oh, that might be an interesting question. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, well, and if either Celia or Luke or any of the Rosehaven crew, of which there are a lot of lovely queer people, by all means, please, if you're in the New South Wales area, come to Cap Original. Just hit me up. You all have me on social.
And if any of the Rosehaven people are listening to this show, I'm an actress. I've yeah, yeah. Just
Yes,
work with me here.
we need a Rosehaven the movie. It needs to be at least 95 minutes long. Lisa Lush has to be on as I think one of the competing real estate agents from Sydney. It has to it has to work. It has to.
I said yes. I said
By
no, Pet. I said, Pet, this is the house for you.
I love it. Yes, yes. God wills it, I say.
God wills it. So now this is one from Lesco. Are you very religious? Do you believe in God in the
I was
Christian
actually.
sense? In any sense?
I suppose I'm a little closer to a Buddhist these days, interestingly enough. But I was raised an Anglican. In fact, I was an altar boy at my local church on Thursday Island for quite a number of years. So I know some of the rituals still. I do occasionally read the Bible, but the Holy Bible, and mostly out of interest and reminding, because I would consider myself religiously open. I think I would say.
So
Um,
you are a spiritual person.
I suppose so. I was avoiding saying that because I wonder how many of the Christians who are listening to this secretly under their pillows are or in the rectory just thinking, well, I hope Father Flanagan doesn't catch me listening to this, the gay waves. But I suppose what I would say to the more Christian inclined of your audience, if there are any, I consider myself spiritual, but I also was very much raised in Christianity. But I'm currently in transition, I suppose, is the better word to say. I'm trying to work out if there is currently a faith that best suits me.
Very good answer. Nice and grey.
Mm.
Grey in the rainbow. See, there is even grey in a rainbow. So
Exactly.
are there any specific themes or topics that, as a comedian or as a Aboriginal performer or an actor, that you will not touch?
That I will not touch. Honestly, no. But I would just massage that answer a little bit and say that there's a lot of topics that I haven't gotten to yet. Because I believe, as a performer, as a comedian more broadly, you have something of a sense of duty to talk about anything and everything, even the taboo stuff, and it's only really a taboo because because it's stigmatized, and that's very much your job as a performer. You know, there was once a time where there were no gay performers in stand-up clubs. There was once a time, or if they were, the early ones, of course, existed in stereotype, but that's what you have to work with first in order to shape public consciousness, and that's really important to me.
Have the
The
stereotypes been an
things,
issue?
yeah, I tackle Indigenous issues quite thoroughly because I don't know if you've noticed, but I am Indigenous.
I thought it was my
The
screen. Sorry.
Turn the brightness up. Let the light of God beseech you, sister. And uh, the I suppose, yeah, my race is always ethnicity has always been a little bit of an issue because and this is probably the most innocuous thing that's come up for me.
Mhm.
I would say that the way I communicate to people, the vernacular I've been conditioned with, the word choice I have, that's always been a little bit of an obstacle, I think, to some of my Indigenous audience. Um, Not because they don't know that people talk like this. I just don't think they've ever seen one of them in comedy talk like this. Yeah. But it's also, I would also go as far as to say that it's a bit of a perceived barrier on my end. So, the level of English I use is, I don't try to go too far into the stereotypes. I talk more about the societal issues that, and
Mhm.
do a lot of fun poking at those as far as black ballers are concerned. Um, I think the more stereotypical stuff I lean on tends to be the queer element of things.
Mhm.
Because again, I'm working with an audience and a period in time where the bisexuals and the pansexuals, the aces and the middle sexualities don't really have a loud enough voice in the space yet.
Yet.
Uh, Yet is the operative word. But that's the thing. It only takes one idiot to say it loud enough and then everyone notices. And I'm happy to be that idiot.
Well, I'll join you on the idiot side of the brick.
Oh goodness! I also love that we have the Gaywaves logo in the background, darling. I'm so very much loving this image. It's giving me inspiration while I talk as
Oh,
well,
I
as
hope you
opposed to
don't.
the dark and gothic behind me.
Oh, see, normally I'm the very dark gothic person because, yeah, that's just me. But the Gay Waves logo, so this is on our t-shirts.
Beautiful.
Plug the merchandise. This is on the t-shirts at some point, and I may put it on YouTube if that's okay with you.
Oh,
This issue,
please. Yes.
good, because we
Yes, of
go on
course.
iHeartRadio and Spotify and iTunes, not just
Hmm.
radio. This is going to go worldwide. I'm going to make you a star,
beautiful.
or you'll make me
Oh,
one.
she's
One of them.
international.
You go, person of nondescript gender.
Arr.
I saw the photo in the
Yes.
Mandarin Times. Those shoes are lovely.
Oh, thank you so much, darling. I will say, I think it's one of my favorite quotes from Schitt's Creek. How does it go? It's like, I don't skate through life. I walk through life in really good shoes.
As one should.
Yes.
You can't be too rich,
Yes.
too thin, or have too many nice shoes.
I will say though that when it comes to the curly stuff I do say on stage, if you feel a bit threatened when you see me or a little bit uncomfortable, and you feel like clutching your purse, understand that my purse looks better than yours.
I respect that. And it probably does.
But yes, look, one thing that I think is really important in what we do is we have to approach with love and just the very barest amount of respect. So one thing that has to be clear is that no matter how hairy it gets, I promise you, I do respect the audience. I so very much love that if you're here at this show, you've some of you might have taken a risk. This is something that you've probably never really seen before. Indigenous cabaret performers have existed in the mainstream for quite some time now, but to have an entirely indigenous cabaret setup is we're kind of the first of our kind.
And some
Catch
very
me.
talented people in there as well. Not just
Oh,
yourself.
absolutely.
You're obviously the star, but yeah,
Oh, I'm just the vessel, and as a pansexual, I'm an open vessel. Fill me with whatever fluid you wish.
from any end.
Bursting from both ends like a busted fire hydrant.
Just grab in the middle and shake. You'll be fine. Now,
Yes, I was going to change my name to Ruben J, but I thought that might be a little on the nose.
could be Reuben Sandwich.
No, it's Ruben Toast. That's when I lay on top of him.
I can respect that. So now
Yes,
the
it would be Nutella toast, but I identify as Vegemite. I'm a little bitter now.
Vegemite and Nutella may have to be stoned, but it's worth it.
Sweet and salty.
That could go too far. So I'm going to say the cabaret. The Cab Original is on the Spiegel tent. The tent is running from the 7th to the 25th of June this year. So it's starting tomorrow, people. Well, actually, this goes to air on Friday. So you've missed the first 2 days, but you can still catch this one. Sunday, the 18th of June, 3 p.m. for an hour, no intervals, pee first, pee frequently, take a bucket if you can't
Yes.
hold it. 10 a lady. I recommend those.
And
$35.
from time to time, if you need to pee, I'll let you know if I'm thirsty.
Just raise your hand. Just raise your hand.
Absolutely, yes. And I will pray and I will lay mine upon thee.
The holy water does come forward in a golden shower.
I think you and I are going to have to sit down after this and write some jokes together. I need to write some material for the delicate skin of Wollongong.
Oh, I'm all yours, babe. I don't think you need any help. I've seen your work. But
Oh,
so be there or be square or be really, 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 really snowflakey and don't go. Stay home and just drink a nice cup of tea and watch some reality TV show. Be boring. But go and see this. And I'm hoping at some point the good Reverend is going to have his own TV show coming soon.
Well, one hopes so. All things are possible in the name of him, in the name of the Daddy, the Zaddy, and the House of Gucci. Gay men.
Is there anything you would like to tell our lovely Gaywaves listeners worldwide before we depart this immortal coil for you?
Track down your tickets. Walk, don't run to your keyboards. And look, I don't care if you have to hop on the corner and get a quick out call before, and get paid for a quickie and buy some tickets. Please do. If you don't, it's technically racist, but that's all right. I also encourage you, my darling listeners and viewers, to please, please, please go and follow all of the performers that are going to be available on the bill. Look for the Cabaret Original socials. Follow myself, the Reverend Jaya Wymarra, on Instagram at Tall Dark Funny. I believe you're going to sort of spruik us all at the end of this
Oh,
as
well,
well.
yeah, we'll
So
push you. Yeah, we'll put a few things up. You.
yes, and be ready. And be ready for a wonderful night where we will indeed colonize your funny bone with your consent.
So spiegeltentwollongong.com is where you can log on, find all the information. $35 for the ticket. I mean, that's half the price of a hand shandy out the back anyway. So may
Oh,
as well.
absolutely.
I think it's going
Absolutely.
for
Yes, we.
$100 now. It's been a while. I don't know. So
You've been out of the game for a minute, haven't you, Lisa?
I have just 1 or 2 years, decades. So go see the show. And like he said, if you don't, you're mean, you're horrible, you're racist. I'm not even sure I'm allowed
Yes.
to say that, to be honest. But
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I'll forgive you later with my hands.
bless me, Father, I'd like to sin.
That's my line. How dare you?
From my
That's all
lips
right.
to
I'm
you.
sure. Oh, I'm sure they're very sacrilegious.
Wow, you are so sweet. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to do the best I can with this. This goes to air hopefully on Friday because we want to get you out there as much as possible and spread your word and your seed and your love.
Absolutely. I will spread my cheeks in anticipation. And it's been an absolute pleasure to be spoken to by one of the reigning queens of Gaywaves. So, Madame Lush, please, and thank you so very, very much for having me. And no doubt you'll have me again if you're available.
Merci beaucoup et je regrette the French letter. I will have you later.
Get this up, yeah.
Okay. Get a thingy up, you mate. Yeah, I come from Bush. I'm Bush too, I know. But I come from Kalgoorlie,
Excellent.
just for the record. So there you go, people.
Oh wow! Look at you.
Yeah,
The
I
Queen of the Bush does good.
tarted up nicely down Hay Street Way. And the fact that
It's been
you're laughing,
ages.
you know.
It's been ages since I've heard of Hay Street. My gosh, and also tarting up on Hay Street. Now, if that is not the title of your biography, I will ghostwrite that whether you pay me to or not.
My biography is called My Life is Based on a True Story. It'll happen.
Oh, I love this. So meta. Look at you, darling. Just out of curiosity, will you be able to make it to Wollongong to see the show?
I am going to try because it is on a Sunday, so I'm not working. I'm in Parramatta right now. This is my kitchen behind me.
Ah, lovely.
So
Lovely.
I am going to actually try. And I am going to wear leopard print, so screw you.
Only if you pay the admission.
Of course I will. No freebies here.
But of course. Oh, my darling, this has been such a joy. I was actually in the middle of cooking dinner while until I got the reminder on my phone. This is why, because I've moved back home. I have to constantly set myself reminders for things. So cooking dinner for my mother and my brother, and then my phone was buzzing in the middle of me frying, and I thought, oh damn it, I've got to
go feed your mother. She's starving to death, the poor thing.
That's okay. She's probably heard me do this interview and go, "Oh, it's my son." She loves me to death. But it's also the like, oh, he's saying so many salacious things. It's like, I know, mum, but it pays the bills. So
as long as it pays the bills, who cares? So you have been a delight. I'm glad I got to talk to you. I'm going to join you on Facebook later. So
please do.
Did you?
Oh, I'll look. I'll stand gay or stand straight. I can't do both. I'm sorry.
Just bend in the breeze. We'll meet up somewhere.
Okay, we need to leave because this is going to go. It's going to be us table tennising this for a while.
Yeah, my house slave in the next room's going, what? So, yeah.
Well, he's probably, if you said house slave, so he's probably in the corner going. My darling, my darling Lush, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
My pleasure indeed. Thank you, Jay. I will talk to you another time, and I look forward to that. In pleasure.
Until then, yes. Until then, I'll see you soon. Ta-ta.
Bye. Do I turn this off? Oh, that one. Nope, that one.
Yes, that one. All right.
All right. I'll get there.